So time is ticking for the court to make its final call on President Yoon as the nation's leader. And as reported by our Oh Soo-young, the big day will likely come in April. Let's turn to Professor Paik Eun-seok for more. Great to see you, Professor Paik.
Good morning to you.
So we are running out of our patience, or maybe we learned to be patient through this difficult time. It's still possible the court will publicize a date today, right?
Yes, it is still possible, but I must say it is not highly likely. As the reporter mentioned earlier, in the past, the court announced the ruling date at least 2 or 3 days in advance. And if the court wants to issue its ruling early next week, it could announce the date today. However, today being Friday and the weekend coming up, if the date is announced today, I think there will be a greater risk of a leak over the weekend. And a leaked court ruling after several weeks of already unexpected delay will be quite damaging to the court. And in addition, the pro-impeachment and anti-impeachment rallies and protests would also intensify over the weekend. And so I think the court is not likely to announce the date today. But the bottom line, of course, is very clear. The sooner the ruling comes, the better for the country.
Well, if you are right here, Professor Paik, that means we have to wait until next week for the court to announce the ruling date. Now, if I am correct, a by-election set for April 2nd, which is next Wednesday.
Right.
Now, some say the verdict may come on Thursday or Friday after the by-elections on Wednesday. What do you think?
Right. The court's ruling in the president's impeachment case has huge political ramifications. And that could affect the by-election results. So just as a matter of prudence, the court may not want to issue a ruling before the by-elections. And so election is on Wednesday, April 2nd. So if we take that into account, and as a matter of prudence, once again, then maybe after the by-election, so Thursday, Friday at the earliest.
Well, ruling date still in limbo, but what's widely expected is that things will wrap up before April 18th. That's when 2 of the 8 court justices retire. I have to ask you, what happens if the 2 justices retire before the final verdict is delivered?
I really do hope that doesn't happen. That would make the situation already very complicated situation even more. I guess the exact impact of their retirements may depend on what is the current situation of the court. If you have essentially consensus more or less of all members, then 2 retiring and then the ruling comes afterwards wouldn't be much of a difference. But then, given the fact that the court has taken a lot longer time than anybody expected, which may indicate within the court there is no clear consensus, in which case 2 retiring, again, that would make a further delay in the ruling all the more possible. So once again, I do hope that doesn't happen. And I'm sure the court will try its best to issue its ruling before 2 justices retire on the April 18th.
Well, on top of that, we cannot not talk about how Prime Minister Han Duck-soo is under this great pressure to appoint a justice nominee, Ma Eun-hyuk, ever since he returned to office. It looks like he is not going to appoint Ma, but will Yoon's impeachment ruling be delayed if Ma is appointed by Han?
Right, just to follow up on the earlier question, if 2 current members retire, then we would have only 6 members.
Right.
Theoretically, if all 6 members agree, and if there is a consensus, then it's possible to issue a ruling with 6 members. But again, given this long delay that we've seen, that may not be the case. Then 2 retiring, and then you would not even have enough number of justices to issue a ruling in this case. And if additional member is appointed, again, depending on what the current situation of the court right now may be, but still additional member may require at least some part of the hearings to be in one way or another to be repeated, so that the newest member will be fully aware of the legal issues and the arguments from both sides that have been offered during the hearings. And so I think it's inevitable that the appointment of this new member would become a reason for further delay in the process.
Well, I'd like to hear your personal take on it. Now, if Han does appoint Ma, eventually, when do you think he will appoint him? After the ruling for President Yoon?
Let me answer the question this way. I think the
Sure.
Constitutional Court addressed the matter not once but twice. The first time when the National Assembly asked the court to rule on it, the court made it very clear that it was a constitutional violation for then acting President Choi Sang-mok not to appoint Ma. So court made it very clear the first time. And as a part of its ruling in Prime Minister Han's impeachment case, the justices basically said that he's not appointing the new members to the Constitutional Court did actually violate the Constitution, but that violation was not serious enough for impeachment. So I think on two occasions, the court made it very clear that it is a constitutional violation for Ma not to have been appointed. So I think he has to be appointed at some point.
All right. Thank you for your insightful comments this morning, Professor Paik. As always, you have a good day.
The same to you. Thank you.